Hammers does not take that right there, I think is going to be a huge mistake.
Yeah, I mean, they did play the Kroll yesterday, Hammers did, but it really didn't work out for them. It was not very strong for them, but with this combo, I think you have to just revisit it. You have to go back to trying to play this once again. That's exactly what they're going to do. They grabbed the Celeste Kroll, so I can envision the call you're going to have a little bit later on with the guys, but it's definitely a decision. Maybe it's, again, that overconfidence of thinking, you know what, we know we feel like we can beat these guys with whatever composition. Like, we've seen that happen before, where teams will just let anything go through because they feel like they can beat them, and it's bitten teams more often than not. So TSM going to have to be a little bit careful here. Absolutely,
and giving more credit to them, I do have full confidence that they do have a game plan. They are smart enough. All of these teams are smart enough to understand that, okay, if we don't take Kroll pick right here, we need to have a game plan for it. That is something I have emphasized quite a bit in all of our practices, that anytime they make any sort of decision, they need to think about the long-term repercussions. They need to have a backup plan to it, whatever the worst case scenario is. If you have a plan for the worst case scenario, anything else that differs from that is going to be better off for them.
So Black Feather will be their pick. They did ban away the Lyra, so they don't want that Lyra Kroll to be running around, keeping Kroll even healthier than he already would be with the sustain. Rona getting banned away as well. When you have the Kroll, Rona is oftentimes a pick that people take against a team that has Kroll just because it's that similar bruiser type of hero, just plays a very similar role. So taking that out of the equation, Arden going to come through. I have been really surprised at the lack of Arden that we've seen thus far in the preseason. I personally feel like he is one of the strongest heroes, not just the weapon power Arden joke, it's which I do think is legitimate, but as a captain, Arden brings so much to the table. The crowd control, the ability to give movement speed to an ally that doesn't have it in their kit. I think he actually is one of the more undervalued captains right now.
Absolutely agree with you. I think that because there is obviously 5 heroes on each side of the map now, that means that there's going to be so much more crowd control that a lot of these carries that need to get out of a gauntlet have to use their block for something else. And if they use their block on something else and they get trapped inside a gauntlet, that is free reign for whatever the enemy team wants to do. Hammer's great pick and picking up the Arden, like we just mentioned, and they are getting tanky. They now have Arden, Alpha, and Cruel. That is an insane front line for protecting and peeling for Celeste. TSM has the Black Feather, a little bit of a dive potential there, but not a lot as far as getting onto that Celeste in the back.
Yeah, Samuel's going to struggle to get onto Celeste. Kestrel can't really get onto your back lines without taking out your front line first. Tony can, if you get a really good bada bing, you can knock the Celeste into an area where she's vulnerable, but that's really their only options right now, is Tony with a great ultimate or Black Feather diving in deep and hoping that he survives the onslaught of damage he's going to receive. Catherine to come out as well. We've seen the Arden-Catherine combo. Usually it ends up with the Catherine as a carry. I think either one of those two could easily fill that role of carry with the other one taking the captain. So it's, again, that flexibility that you have. Skye going to be the final pick. I like the Skye pick here for TSM because it's another one of those heroes that can get onto the back line without having to first clear out the tanks.
2 important points here. One, brilliant ban by the side of Hammers Esports to take out that Rona. Not only is it a comfort pick for Daniel, but because they have 4 melee heroes, you do not want a Rona in that front line spinning on top of everyone. And then 2 out of the side of TSM, Skye, like you said, melts through a Catherine in the front line. She's going to struggle getting onto Celeste, but it's going to make it very easy to just kite around all these melee heroes and do damage to her the entire game.
Absolutely. So the picks are in, but before we dive further into what each selection will mean, I want you both to give me and us a player to watch from each team. So why don't we start with you, Bacon? We'll start with Hammers Esports.
On the side of Hammers, I want to keep my eyes on Stand-in Solo this game because yesterday I mentioned he played the Kroll, which is a very strong pick on the rise, but he did not look comfortable with it. He has struggled very heavily. A lot of that was T-Tigers going in invading, but his jungle was stolen away time and time again. In that game yesterday, he hit the 10 CS mark at 9 minutes into the game. That is absolutely unacceptable if you're going to be trying to compete and trying to win games.
Yeah, that's definitely rough. On the flip side of the coin, TSM bringing in Cause. We talked about him a little bit yesterday. Young kid, only 13 16 years old, but seriously so mechanically gifted. I definitely expect him to see him on the Sky today. We did see Hammy on it yesterday. Kaz will either be on Sky or Kestrel for this game. Heroes that he is very comfortable with, heroes that he has carried plenty of these community tournaments with. He's very comfortable on both. His mechanics are nutty.
So those are the players to watch. Let's revisit the hero picks from each player. Are there any unique matchups given the selections?
I think it's kind of surprising that Daniel is just always able to get, like, he has 2 picks that I've seen him play over on 5v5. It's Rona and Blackfeather, and he gets one of those 2 every single game. I really want to see a team try and contest that because they've seen the same games I have. They know that those are the 2 picks he goes for. I want to see teams try and challenge that. Just say, you know what, even if you have more heroes, show us that you have more heroes.
All right, it looks like the players are ready, so we're going to get this game underway. Let's take you right over now.
And here we go. Team Solo Mid. TSM going to be going up against Hammers Esports. Game number 2 here in North America. Hammers with a lot to prove here. They really want to step up from their performance yesterday. Of course, a very difficult start to preseason for them, taking on Tribe and then TSM. But TSM looking to solidify themselves as one of the top teams.
Hey, you're here to win, but you're also here to grow and learn. And what a better way to start off your preseason, start off your competitive season for the whole year by going against the best teams, getting that practice, and then building your confidence later on. Honestly, going into preseason with some victories sounds a lot better than going to preseason with some losses, and I feel like they could build so much on these games that they've played here, both yesterday and today. And Team Solo Mid, definitely the top team here in North America going into the preseason. And so Hammers, they have their hands full, but they really do have all the pieces. We talked about, bringing on Starboy, Girls on Boy, and Standing Solo are fantastic. A lot of victories that they've had in challengers coming into this Premier League.
And speaking of Starboy, we actually didn't get to touch on it. We mentioned Status at his birthday today. Starboy, also his birthday today, turning 20. So happy birthday to Starboy. Make sure you hop onto social media and give him your birthday wishes. And he's definitely going to be hoping for a win here against TSM. That would be a fantastic birthday present.
That would be absolutely awesome. He's been, kind of that player that I feel like you either love him or you hate him.
Very volatile within
he brings
the
a lot, but he brings
community.
a lot to the game. I think that's missing. There's a lot of character there, a lot of kind of entertaining moments in the moment here. Starboy, of course, playing this Catherine role. Does look like he will be you're playing that carry captain that we've seen come out quite so often, where you do go with that Storm Crown first and build into like an aftershock.
Starboy and Standing Solo both eating a lot of damage here. Nice taunt by Tony. He's going to pull him back in, and they secure the kill. That's not a very good birthday present to offer their TSM, but they find themselves the first blood, taking Starboy down.
Yeah, he had the taunt go in. I think Starboy at that point realized he was going to go down. Merciless pursuit just to get that stack. Catherine obviously loves to use those stuns to keep building on those stacks to build extra armor throughout the game, as that's pretty permanent. Daniel does steal away the Elder Treant.
And again, Daniel, in these one-on-one situations, he is this top laner, he's this solo laner. He loves this Blackfeather, loves Rona, and he's very often ends up in just sort of these one-on-one situations. It kind of ends up being an island up there, and that's where he wants to strive. He wants to be able to take down any opponent in a one-on-one situation. We see him do it so frequently too, where he's not afraid to go in for a fight. Even right now, Standing Solo charges on in. Daniel is just absolutely winning that trade right now. Throws out another on point, and yet he just comes out on top of a trade against a Kroll that was waiting in a bush.
It's what Blackfeather can bring to a game, just because you have the mobility you need, as well as a sizable amount of sustain. That barrier that you get from the on point is not to be messed with early.
Doing a lot of work onto Girls on Boys. And a couple more might drop him down into that reboot. He will actually drop into the reboot. They're not going to be able to find the kill just yet, but now knowing that he doesn't have that perk, that's going to allow Daniel to be even more aggressive up in this lane. And if Kaz sticks around, they could easily find themselves a kill, but they've also taken this turret down very low, looking to try and take that down now. Yeah, Hammers, they're just going to give that up.
Oh my goodness, to get bullied like this in the early part of the game is something Hammers needs to find a game plan for. That is way too early for a turret, and I get that, you've got both members of Team Solo Mid committing to it, but I don't see pressure anywhere else on the map that Hammers was able to inflict during that time. So honestly, just a good choice of heroes by Team Solo Mid in the top lane at that point. Just being able to say, hey, we can outmatch those heroes. We can poke and poke and poke until they just have to back away.
Yeah, TSM is definitely putting the pressure on. That was Kaz and Daniel. Just, again, 2-on-2 situation. It wasn't like they had a numbers advantage. It wasn't like they forced anything up there. They didn't give up anything across the map. It was just a straight 2-on-2 victory for TSM to pick up. And so they're going to be able to have that early pressure advantage. And with that first turret down, now that opens up if they do want to start split pushing, if they do want to focus Kaz other parts of the map and just have Daniel continue to push on his own in that top lane, they have that option.
It's going to be challenging. You saw that also Team Solo Mid already doing a great job taking out and clearing enemy jungle. That's going to be a big factor. Daniel going on Girls on Boys again. The Cruel gets executed. This is going to be a really scary, scary time for Hammers. The top lane is it's just falling apart. It looks like standing solo on the Cruel just has nowhere to go and has no ability to kind of, find leverage up against that Blackfeather.
Yeah, it's definitely been a difficult game for them thus far. 3 kills. TiVo on this Sky is going to be looking to find some damage here onto Starboy. Again, the forward barrage, the barrier from Starboy doesn't do anything against the Sky. The damage threshold is not met when Sky throws out that forward barrage. So that's why this Sky is such a good pick into a Catherine. They're going to get the stun. The taunt doesn't actually connect, so it won't be forcing anyone into the forward barrage. But while this is going on, TSM, they're taking the Coast Wing, and Hammers don't seem to have any idea.
This is a nice take here. Easy objective. You put so much pressure on.
Yeah, they find out now, but it's a little too late. The Solar Storm did come through to try and help and maybe get themselves a steal, but they're just not going to be able to do so. And so now TSM, with that Ghost Wing buff, going to be kiting back TiVo. Again, forward barrage very strong against Krull as well, because they have to run at you. Both these heroes have to run straight at you.
No.
Nice stun onto Standing Solo. TiVo looking for this kill. Forward barrage. That Starboy going to body block that and make sure Standing Solo gets out alive, but it is just barely. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Girls on Boys does take out the top turret. Going to pay for it with his life, almost certainly. The detonation protocol is going to be going off. It does get back up, but as the taunt connects, keeps him in place, and that will be the kill secured by Daniel.
Believe it or not, I really feel that was important. They got that top because they were just getting bullied in the top lane for so long. You need the objective. My only fear now is they have no one to go up there and keep that lane pushing. So for at least the time being, the top lane is going to just kind of it looks like TSM might actually back away from the top as well. But what's really scary is the matchups. I'm not seeing right now in the early to mid game any matchups that Hammers are going to win. The Sky is doing a great job on the bottom. You could just see the Cruel and Catherine are not really good into the Sky right now.
Yeah, and it's been 2-on-1 for a long time in that bottom lane, and TiVo has been able to handle it because he just has the hero advantage at that point. That's just a Sky does really well into both Catherine and Krull. And I feel like if you're Hammers, you have to recognize that and make the switch, change up who's in what lane so that you can try and have some winning lanes. But right now in the mid lane, it's a lot of damage being done by Kaz. Kaz is going to take out Celeste, and that's not going to be doing any help for Hammers and the current struggle that they're going to be having. TiVo now finally getting onto the turret. He has been pushed up to his turret, but that's just because it has been 2-on-1, and now he's getting the opportunity to go into this 1-on-1 matchup, and you're seeing he's starting to be able to push it in towards the opponents, and the rotation of TSM's coming.
If you're losing just one matchup, like the bottom, it wouldn't be a huge deal, but they're losing every single matchup, so the Sky on the bot is just exasperating the issue for Hammers right now. I do think Catherine and Cruel, as we get later into the game, will be able to manage these fights better, but right now, it's just too early. They don't have enough.
And Standing Solo, he was my player to watch, and because he didn't have a strong performance yesterday, his CS was not there, and it's happening again. He's only at about 15 CS at 9 minutes. That's better than yesterday, but not by much. You should have so much more CS. I mean, Kaz is the jungler on TSM side. He's got himself 26 at 9 minutes compared to the 15, but he also has, the kills and the pressure on the lanes and things like that Standing Solo has not been able to provide. And that's something that is really needs to improve for Hammers going forward, is they need to get more pressure out of the jungle.
And there's going to be another Ghost Wing coming up here in just a few seconds. Another objective I really think TSM can take without any contention from Hammers, and they're going to start it up right now.
Yeah, there's no vision here at all for Hammers. They have not been able to get scout cams out.
Exactly.
And they've been forced back in every single lane. Again, they're into their tier 2, tier 3 turrets in some lanes.
Even the top.
They're just not able to extend out far enough to get vision. Daniel, he's on his own. 3-4 members of Hammers rotate up to top, and Daniel just walks away. That cannot happen. You need to, if you're going to have dedicate 3 members to stop one, you need to secure that kill.
At this point, with the lead TSM has, you start to look at the items they have as well. You see that Frostburn coming out from TiVo. That just makes perfect sense. You're not really seeing anything to get around that. And we might see Kaz does get cut out, but look, it turns quickly.
Oh, Kaz does get stunned up, though. They do take him out, finally getting the kill onto Kestrel. Meanwhile, it's going to be another kill potentially coming through, but no. Daniel's able to run away, get himself out of harm's way, but now he's in that 1v1 against Stan and Solo. But Stan and Solo, he's so far behind. You can just see he doesn't have the damage. The only reason Daniel's even running is because he doesn't know if there's anyone else following. Otherwise, he wins that 1v1. He has that advantage, but he just doesn't want to risk it knowing that there might be other members. If Stan and Solo tries to commit to this, he's going to end up falling.
There's an engage by Starboy with the Merciless Pursuit, but no one to follow up with. Girls and Boys just waiting passively, doesn't want to engage, eliminate as well. Everyone's just kind of holding patterns here, not being able to engage. Oh, no.
Yeah, it looks like Girls and Boys might be having connections. TSM, they're just going to leave him there. Oh, he does. He starts moving now. So maybe playing possum a little bit there, but no, it's probably maybe been an issue there, but they didn't want to call for the pause. But Daniel, again, still in this 1v1 against Stan and Solo, but he's making progress. He has moved further and further towards the Hammer's base while still fighting a Kroll in a one-on-one situation. Kroll, who's known as a duelist in Vainglory, and he just, again, is just too far behind at this stage of the game. And now TSM, they can start pushing up with the rest of their team. They're pushing all 3 lanes simultaneously.
He does go down.
They find Daniel because they committed multiple members up there, but bottom and mid are still getting pushed. TSM is pushing everywhere at once and not giving Hammers any room to breathe. Look down bottom, though. It looks like maybe TiVo, could it be biting off a little more than he gets? You dodges the Solar Storm just barely. Girls on Boys, going to have to use the ultimate and blow up underneath the turret to try and stay safe. That turret's about to fall. Kaz actually didn't finish off the turret when he had the opportunity. He's going to end up falling. As a result, Hammers finding themselves a couple of kills here. This could be a window back on in. Chuck, nice block on the Merciless Pursuit. Still going to be throwing out damage at that Samuel. Still in the Drifting Dark and healing up. Staying alive for so long. Shaded Talent going to be running interference as well. But the Bada Bing just knocks the Eliminate right into Chuck. That's not what you wanted to have happen. TiVo and Shaded Talent still on the run, but here comes Daniel having respawned, rejoining the fight. Eliminate is so low. It's not quite going to fall. One shot doesn't quite connect the Vanguard to dodge out the one shot. They do sacrifice Starboy, but TSM not the cleanest of pushes.
They're buying time for Hammers, and when you do a split push, what you cannot do is allow yourself to get spread out in a fight where you're going to be picked off one by one. TSM clearly has the advantage in items. They've got the gold lead, but if you get ganged up, if you have a bad matchup where it's 2v3 and you're going to lose that matchup, because Hammers does know that they still have a shot at winning this game. If they're not out of it yet, they're definitely not giving up, and Team Solomid has to just understand that.
Yeah, and there's a reason why the 3-lane split push is not very frequently done unless you have a massive lead, because when you're pushing into the enemy base, it is much easier for them to rotate lane to lane than it is for the attacking team. It takes a lot longer to go from mid to top if you're outside the base versus inside the base. So Hammers, they were able to rotate much quicker than TSM could respond to those movements, and that's why they were able to find some picks. But you see the advantages they still have. Kaz very nearly taking down the Celeste.
They're going to clear out some of this vision because Ghost Wing, an objective that's ready to go. They might be one that they want to eye here very soon. The Girls and Boys did get caught out here, so he's got to be careful. Already there to back it up, but they're just going to go for the Ghost Wing. Not a bad call.
Yeah, they don't need to look for the kill there. Because if you try and chase that kill, it's going to get chased through the jungle. It's going to take a long time. Just force them away, clear them out, eliminate the steal attempt, and capture yourself a Ghost Wing effectively for free. just about a minute to go until Black Claw is on the rise as well. And you got to figure TSM is going to be in position to start up that objective either when or shortly after it lands.
Bottom lane's pushing nicely. Daniel's done a good job, so he's, again, pushed top lane for half the game. He's down here just helping push the lane that makes the most sense.
TSM looks like they want to fight. They are grouping up big. That's a lot of damage onto Celeste right off the bat from a one-shot. Now the Glimmer shots coming on through, ripping through this Arden, making life difficult. Now they're looking to potentially engage. That's a Drifting Dark going over the wall, but they can't follow up with it. It's still a lot of damage onto the turret. That's their focus. They take the turret down. They have a lot of low health on the side of Hammers. Another one-shot tags Celeste once again. Daniel trying to dive on deep, but he's not going to find it. From Hell's Heart doesn't connect either, but the armory is destroyed. TSM, do they want to look for a fight? The defensive, the death from above just to get them the right space out. But a great active camo stun. That's going to be a gauntlet coming out, trying to stop things, trying to just slow the bleeding. But Daniel is deep onto the Celeste. She's going to go down. They find themselves 4 kills, and this should be the game. 4-0 on that last team fight. And it is going to be TSM finishing this game off. Just over 15 minutes for them to take down the Vein Crystal. And TSM, once again, looking strong, a little bit of faltering in the mid-game, as I'm sure Flash will talk about for us a little later on the desk. But once again, able to close the game out and walk away with a victory.
Very exciting game between two very strong teams.